Hello and welcome to Ant RC. Terry here, and this is part 10 of my MC6 build. It's been a couple of weeks, excuse me, since I've done a video, and that's because I've been very busy. So as you can see, the original truck wheels are back on the chassis, and the flatbed is also on the chassis, and it is bolted down. And the flatbed is finished, as are all the accessories that are on the top. So let's have a quick look at what we've got on here. So first of all, the weathering on the side of the flatbed. I really like this, and it's been quite interesting because Andrew and I have had many discussions about weathering. This is really the first time I've really done weathering. I did it on the WPL truck. And Andrew gave me the basic idea, you know, running paint down lines and letting it find its own way. But of course, this is the first important bit of weathering I've ever done. And I really enjoyed it. Probably the most fun part of this whole build, to be fair, from my point of view. And it's quite easy because it's just a messy weathering, so you haven't got to be really accurate. The trick is getting the weathering to not look uniform. So the cab that's over there and the flatbed and each panel on the flatbed, you don't want the same marks and repetitive things all over it. So, you know, water splashes, mud splashes don't look the same when they land. They all look different. It depends how the water lies. So each panel is different. And that was really important to get that look, so it doesn't look uniform. And I think it's come out really well. Really happy with it. All the kind of drip marks and bits and pieces and some splashes on here. And the way I did this was using enamel paint. So it's enamel paint on top of acrylic. And lots of thinners. And I used 4 different brush sizes as well. And went over it, some really expensive brushes, some very fine brushes, and then some really cheap, nasty, harsh brushes as well, just to kind of give the effect so it's really random. So every panel, I've used a different brush on different sections and built up the layers very slowly. So it's come out just as I want it. It's you know, it's the little things like this on the rails, bits of, you know, black marks here and there. You don't want them to, I didn't want them to look uniform. So this rail at the front looks completely different to the rail at the back of the flatbed. Focus camera, there we go. So moving on to inside the cab, we have the quad bike, which again is also weathered, because you can't have these things on the back of this truck and it be clean. So yeah, there's a lot of weathering going on there. The tyres, suspension, drips out the fuel tank, weathering on the front. And again, I didn't want the bike and the quad to look the same, because it's weathering from use as well as weathering from being on the flatbed. We have the ramps here, because you can't get either of these vehicles on without having ramps. So they're tied together and also weathered. We have some boxes here from a supplier online, Village Farm Toys, or I think it's just Farm Toys it might be. And in these boxes, this one over here, this crate that has kind of their proper 1/12 scale bricks, but these aren't. These are railway kind of gravel and bricks, and there's some like clay sand in here. These come from Andrew, and he informs me that they were about 20 years old and he never used them. So he gave them to me to try, because I was thinking, what do I put in the boxes? And what I did was I used some PVA glue, because I thought, how am I going to keep, you know, this stuff in the boxes? You stand up so you can get a proper view. And I mixed PVA glue in there. I just poured a load in there, mixed it all up, and of course it dries clear, because it was all white and gloopy, and I wasn't sure it was going to work. But it's worked perfectly. Everything is rock solid. It just doesn't move, all of them. So when the truck inevitably turns over, although I'm going to try my very best to not let that happen, they shouldn't fall out. So everything is secure to the flatbed. So these are hot glued in, so they're nice and sturdy and they won't move around. I was going to Velcro them down, but as the truck moves along, I really didn't want these jiggling about, because the idea is if you've got, you know, a whole big box full of gravel in them, they're not going to move. They're going to be pretty secure. So for that scale model look, I wanted it to, you know, not move around and be still. Probably my favorite accessory, the motocross bike. I've put in some towing hooks down here and just some cable ties, which again have been weathered. I've done the same as towing eyes down here, or towing hooks, and I've weathered the bike, as you can see, all over the engine and oil and bits and pieces. So if I come around the side, you can see it from this side as well. Really happy with how it's turned out, really happy. So then we come on to this area, this box here. Now there's 2 crates, pallets underneath to raise it up, because this is going to be my camera platform for the run cam and probably the 4K video camera, the Samsung S7 that I'm filming this with, sorry. So they're going to be mounted on here, and I didn't want those in view. So a little quick idea was to hot glue this kind of netting, if you like, around the side, and of course this has been weathered as well, and it will just fold over. So I left enough slack so that when we're not filming on board, that can be covered and you won't see the Velcro or the camera mount. But now I've told you, of course you'll know it's there, but new visitors to the channel hopefully won't. But it just, you know, little details like that, and it's just an idea that sprung to me as I was sitting there trying to work out how. So with this, the run cam, it will be able to film out from all angles. So, you know, looking out from the front this way, looking out from the side over at the bike, and then obviously looking backwards to over the back of the flatbed. This side we've got just a box. Well, you can see that's a bit bad, isn't it? A hot glue in there. I didn't do that very well. So they're glued in. Again, I didn't want them moving around, and this is all hot glued to the flatbed. I have no intention of ever taking these things out, really. I have a vision of how I want it to look, and it's going to stay that way. So it's all been put in there with in mind of it staying put. I'm not really a fiddler, to be honest. I'd rather keep things as they were, or as I want them in the first place. So these are then glued in, these pallets, and then of course you've got the battery box, which has been weathered. So obviously the battery goes in there. You can't get a huge battery in there. A lot of my batteries, 3S batteries, are 5000s. I can get a 2S 5000 in this, but I will come on to that in a moment as to why I want to run the 3S. So this isn't big enough. The biggest I can get in here is a 3300. So I may be taking this out and doing something clever with the netting, so I can get 5000 and lay it on the bed and just cover it up so you can't see it. So we'll wait and see. That may come out in time. So really the next the next part will be just putting the cab on and sorting out the wiring. I'm trying to lift this thing. I mean, this on its own, the flatbed, when I weighed it with everything in it, is 2.5 kilos. And there are some weights underneath here, hot glued in. And if you can see that, there you go. Now this is because I really don't like bouncy trucks. I hate it. So I want it heavy and I want it nice and smooth. Now I have tested this, and I like the fact that the suspension, the wheels will go up without the body kind of jerking around. So the idea is if it rolls along and goes over a stone, instead of the body going like that and jumping because the suspension's too hard, I just want the wheel to flex like a real truck would. And I've run it over my foot in the house and it's worked. So I wanted to load it up. You know, the whole idea of this truck is it's supposed to be heavy, and I wanted to keep it heavy. I'm not going to be doing a lot of climbing with it. I don't intend to. I'm not going to roughhouse it either. I want to keep it nice and you know, well, in reasonable condition. It's going to be used for trailing. It's also going to be used in the mud and things like that. So let me just lift this round. It's a lump. So if we look at the back, the lenses are in and the mud flaps are on. I need to put the tow hook on because we will be doing some towing. I haven't used the Cross RC kit, so it's got no reverse LEDs or indicator LEDs. It's just brake lights, and they won't come on or flash, they're just on permanently. And I'm not running using the Cross RC kit. You know, it just is not something that I wanted to do. So I'm using my own setup. I'll go into that another time. Yeah, so if you want me to go into the details about the lights, then I can do when it's all together. I'll probably do another video about that. It's not majorly exciting, but I didn't want to put the circuit board, the Cross RC circuit board on, so I've just kind of used my own thing. So what have we got running at the front and the electric side? Well, it's a 1080 Hobbywing Quick Run ESC and the standard 45 turn motor. I have got a Spectrum DX5C radio transmitter and a Spectrum receiver, a 4-channel one in here. So that will be running the kit. I haven't yet sorted out how I'm going to lay everything out and where I'm going to put the on-off switch yet. I need to figure that out. I'm put the cab, which is sitting in the background there, put that on soon, but I wanted to do this update video first, just to give you guys a little bit of a taste of what's happening. So we are so close to completion. So I'm hoping to get this done, you know, by Christmas. And then between Christmas and New Year, Andrew and I want to try and do a run. I think his is going to be finished as well. He is progressing, and I'm assuming that a video will be coming from him soon. So he's not far away at the moment. He won't be able to finish all the accessories on his flatbed because he's doing something different to me, and it's going to take a bit longer. But he might be able to run an empty flatbed with us. So keep your fingers crossed. We might be able to do a joint run between Christmas and New Year, which will be really exciting. So stay tuned, folks. That'd be cool. If not, we may just run mine. I'm itching to get it out now, and it's so close to finishing, and I am so happy with how it's turned out. It is absolutely fantastic. I've never had an RC experience before. Well, it's the first real kit build I've done, but I've never done anything or built anything before where I haven't been a little bit disappointed with some aspects of it, to one extent or another. And this, I am over the moon with all of it. Everything is just as I want it to be. There isn't anything that I'm unhappy about with how it looks. So that's a win as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, it's been a great kit. It's been a really good build. I've yet to finish it, of course, but hopefully it shouldn't be too difficult getting everything in here. A lot of lighting stuff is going in the engine bay, in the cab. So I'm trying to keep this access to this minimal if I can. But it seems to be running okay. I run it in the house. I'm not putting the hub covers on the wheels because I want to be able to change them fairly quickly. I also don't particularly like them, and I would have to paint them and put O-rings in. I don't mind how it looks. I'm not that fussed. But it's pretty damn awesome. So I hope you like it, and I hope you've enjoyed following the build. And very, very soon, I would imagine there'll be another video that's a completion video. So thanks for all your support and advice, especially to Mal from Basildon Trailblading Buddies. He's been a great inspiration, and it's been a massive task for me, and it's taken just over 2 months, maybe a bit more, and a lot of my firsts. And there haven't been many mistakes, and that'd be cool. I might take the screws out at some point and take the sides off and just run it as a flatbed. I do like the idea of it just being an open flatbed, but it's going to show off some glue stuff down here. I'm not sure. So for now, it's going to be run with the sides on. I think it looks better that way, bearing in mind what I've got on the flatbed. So yeah, well, that's it for now. I will stop jabbering on, and I shall catch up with you guys soon. There's lots of videos coming up over Christmas. So please stay tuned. We've got a special Christmas Day video coming out as well, so please keep a lookout for that. It's gonna detail all of our outtakes from the runs over the years. There's lots of things you haven't seen, so please keep an eye out for that. Thanks for your support once again, and have a fantastic Christmas holiday, and catch up soon. Bye.